Welcome to the wonderful world of snowboard gear polyamory that is the Good Ride. I'm James Beastie, and today I'm going to be reviewing the ThirtyTwo TM2 Double BOA. I'm going to be comparing it against the TM2 Lace. I will occasionally reference a similar boot, the Ride Deadbolt. This is the 2024, and here's a little teaser for the 2025 Ride Deadbolt that I'm currently testing now as well. Just so you know, we're not paid by the brands to make these reviews, so if you want to support objective content, we'd appreciate it if you buy through our links to Blower Board Shop in the US, Stoked Board Shop in the EU, or PRFO in Canada. Their sponsorship helps us stay objective and keep this dream thriving. So I rode these boots in a decent amount of conditions, some hard snow, medium snow, and some decent soft snow. I did the same for the Lace model as well. I did this last year. I was overwhelmed and I didn't have time to publish a review. So now I have these and they're the exact same boots as what I rode before. When it comes to weight, these are 2 pounds. So are the Lace. This is more on the lighter side of things and only a touch heavier than my Deadbolts at 1.8 pounds each. When it comes to sizing, these fit me really well lengthwise. I'm a true size 9, but I'm an E width. These are too narrow for me. Conversely, the wides that I tried are a little too wide for me. They're best for double E, triple E feet. Even though they do have a narrower toe box, I felt a good amount of width on either side of the widest point of my foot, which is right where the toes begin and the foot ends. When I rode them, I wasn't able to try a heat mold with the boots because they were demo boots and they weren't just for me. With this liner and a good heat molding, I might be able to get it to fit, but I'm a little skeptical because they already have neoprene, as you can see here, from the widest part of your foot forward. In comparison to a lot of other boots, they have more foam here and then neoprene towards the end. So if I press out that foam here, like you see with my Ride Fuse liner, it fits me. With my Ride Deadbolt liner, you can see it has that same thinner material that the TM2 has right here. This fit me perfectly out of the box, day one, never needed to heat mold it. So does the 2025. And it hasn't packed out too much in this area because it's so thin. So I'm a little worried that an aggressive heat mold where I put on socks, then I cut out boot fitting foam to go on the sides of my feet on each side, and then a thin sock over the top and a toe cap to really try to blow out this area. I'm not sure it'll do the trick for E width boots. So I think if you're a D bordering on E, this might be a touch too narrow. As it stands now, my feet went to sleep and the fit is exactly the same in the Lace versus the BOA. When it comes to the lacing system, I do love that this is separate upper and lower lacing. It's not like a overlapped BOA, and that's what I like about my Deadbolts too, is they have upper and lower separation. If you're somebody who really likes a lot of heel hold and you want your upper and lower to overlap, or you want one outer and one inner around your heel, that will provide a little more heel hold. But ThirtyTwo has done something to compensate for the lack of heel hold. They have a thin one here and a thicker one here. And what you can do is put a thin one in or a thick one in into this position here and tighten up the fit around your heel so you reduce heel lift. So when it comes to getting these on and off, getting BOA on is a bit slow. I find that doing traditional lace, yeah, it's a little more messy, but it's almost the same speed than BOA, because what happens is when you pop this and you put it into place, it takes a long time to tighten each one up. It's often hard to find the perfect dial too. So you often have to pop it, then it pops all the way out and goes back. You have to do the same for the bottom. But when you get it off, this is just pop, pop. Then you have an internal harness here that you'll have to pull out too, but that's it. Basically the same as my Ride Deadbolts 2. I do prefer speed lacing like you get from Nitro boots. This is the Team TLS, or Burton Speed Lace boots. They're much easier on and off, a little more tangled, but not as bad as traditional lace. I think this is a good happy medium. Another thing too, they're easier to repair. With BOA, you can break them and you can put some strap-ins. These are great little things that I tested a while back, and now I have a pair of these in every pair of pants and jacket I ride. Just in case a BOA breaks, I can throw these straps over the BOA that breaks on my boot and keep riding. So once you give these to the shop, you're shit out of luck. You don't have boots. Where boots like these, if the speed lace breaks, you can just run traditional laces through them. Or if your traditional lace breaks, you just get another traditional lace. Every shop has that. Here we are mid-review, and if you're about snowboard gear polyamory 2, check out Blower Board Shop in the US. They're family owned and they have a great selection of gear. Stoked Board Shop in the EU. They're stoked like we are. Or PRFO in Canada, they're a great shop. When it comes to flex and response, you've got a medium stiff flex. It feels almost a touch on the stiff side when you first get it, but after a few days of riding, it breaks in just a little bit and then kind of holds there. In comparison to my Ride Deadbolts, it's very similar. These are a touch more stiff. I feel that the response doesn't quite match the flex, which I actually like. It feels a little bit less, but the response and flex holds for a long time because this construction is super solid. They have this rubbery thing all around the boot here to help preserve the flex. They have a real rubber backstay that will hold back here and not get soft. They have an exceptional ankle articulation here. You can see it goes all the way to here. So when you forward flex, it doesn't distort the shell and break it down easier. You can get more longevity with a 32 Focus BOA and other 32 boots that have the higher end liner that is rubber, but I find this a lot more comfortable. So when it comes to shock absorption, I felt like these TM2, Lace, and BOA had really good shock absorption for having such a thin bit of EVA in the sole. I felt it soft in the end of the heel, directly below the heel, and I felt a good bit of padding on my metatarsal, and yet I didn't feel it affected board feel too much. It's a nice balance between board feel and pretty good shock absorption. I felt like this was a step up above my Ride Deadbolts, and even the 2025 Deadbolts, which have a little more shock absorption than the 2024. And they're the most shock absorbent boots I've tried in Ride's line. I did feel like these soles were a good step behind really shock absorbent soles like the Nitro Team that have that big airbag in there, but that doesn't have as much board feel. So it really is a trade-off. For me, I'm all about the most shock absorption I can get. So if 32 boots fit my feet better, I would probably consider the TM2 XLT, which has a little bit more EVA foam and still a decent amount of board feel. So when it comes to traction, this is a detraction from the boot's overall appeal. This black part is all EVA foam with minimal traction. It's gonna wear away quicker and it's not gonna grip as well. I noticed a little slippage in an icy lift line with these versus a full rubber soled boot like this. What I do like is that the TM2 XLT or the Focus BOA has a full rubber sole, and I think that's what they should do with this. The ridges of this factory insole just don't appeal to me. I don't like riding this with these ridges. And all insoles in the snowboard industry are just generally not that good. You can do much better with a aftermarket insole like the Footprint Game Changers here that heat mold to your foot. They're like 44 bucks. Or you could go big from Insole. I love this thing. It improves my response because you can see it molds perfectly to my feet. So when it comes to footprint, I found that these are pretty reduced in footprint. I compared them to a Burton boot. All Burton boots are the same footprint across their line. These were just about 5-6 millimeters longer in footprint, but they're pretty close for size 9 versus size 9, same fit. And they're pretty comparable to the Ride Deadbolts in footprint as well. So overall, I really like where 32's going lately with their boots. They've come a long way. These are very well built. They're burly. They're gonna last a long time. If they had a full rubber sole and they made their regular boots maybe a touch wider, I might be willing to give this a try. But as it stands now, this works really well with narrow-footed people in the BOA and the lace for the regular sizing. And then if you're really wide, like a double E or triple E, their wide versions in BOA and lace could work for you really well too. So I hope this review helped. And if it did, check out our links to Stoked Board Shop in the EU, Blower Board Shop in the US, or PRFO in Canada. Buying there really helps keep our dream thriving. It also helps if you like and subscribe, become a patron or YouTube member, buy our merch, and of course, buy through our links. Thanks for watching.